Hi, I'm Dave from Boyinaband.com. I lied about the exploding thing. Yesterday we made the lead, and today in day 4 we'll be looking at making a hardstyle arpeggiated synth and a simple pad to fill out our track a bit. Since alphabetical order and alliteration approve, I'll allow the ARP to actuate. For everyone that can't be bothered to Google that, let's start with the ARP. You may have guessed that the combinator, mixer, and Thor combination tend to be the starting points for most of my synths. It's just freaking useful that way. Allows for layering of the devices really easily with the mixer and send effects as well. And I rarely use more than one send effect on a synth, so yeah, let's name it. Initialize Thor. Open it. And we're going to start with 3 multi-oscillators. 1 down an octave and 1 up an octave. And I'm going to put some notes in a new block. In Reason 6, blocks are loops that you can conveniently arrange in song mode, which is great for putting the track together later. I'll show more about those in day 6 with the arrangement. For now, I'm just going to name this block Drop. And we're going to go to the new block and name it Not Drop. So, down to the ARP, and here's some notes. I'm going to solo it out, run these through, and detune them a bit, which thickens it up a little bit more. Gives it that hardstyle edge. Boom! Conventional super saw. But we're going to bring down the frequency here, down to a quarter, just to knock off the high end. And we're going to turn this ENV all the way up to full, which will allow us to make a cool plucked sound at the start. Add a bit of resonance, just about a quarter there. Can you hear it adds a little bit more high pitchedness, and it means that when we modulate the frequency, it'll really start to sound like it's got that underwater effect that's in all the danciest, clubbiest, submariniest tracks. So, now for the filter envelope, we're going to bring down the decay. Yeah, to around there. 350. Just to get that pluck. We're going to bring the sustain to full in the amp envelope. For reasons you probably know by now, and a tiny amount of portamento will just help each note to bounce a bit more. Now, an EQ. We're going to cut the bass around 200 Hertz, just so that the actual bass has some room to breathe. Bring that down a bit more. 12 decibels, and we're going to bring up the highs just to make it shine. Around 8 decibels, something like that. And now for the important arpification. We're going to make an RPG-8 rocket-propelled grenade launcher, arpeggiator. Now this will give you something a bit more than just a single extended note. Check it out. Now here's where we're going to play with triplets again. The 1/8T mode is great. Now I'm going to go for 3 octaves, up-down mode, on 4/2, which is just a more interesting pattern. And another type I'm going to show you, which you might want to try in hardstyle, is turning it to 1/16, and then hitting this shuffle for that swinginess. Remember, you're trying to make people dance like a drugged-up scimitar-wielding denizen of the 7 seas. So, let's go back to 1/8T and get rid of the shuffle, because I'm quite happy with this. And next up, we're going to add an RV7000 advanced reverb, initialized, just as a send effect for the mixer. Just dial it in quite heavily, and bring up the decay to taste, only a touch. And lastly, we're going to modulate this bitch in with a bitch in ECF. That's envelope controlled filter. Let's bring that resonance up to about 3/8 and start with the frequency on full. Then automate at your leisure to get a similar effect to the lead. Remember, that's Alt-click to set the automation up. And now we can just bring this up as we want to. Freaking sweet. And another parameter I like to automate on these plucked kind of sounds is the decay on the filter envelope here. So let's auto-click that. And try drawing it in down here. And that one really gets the tension going and almost negates the need for a random person with a heavy European accent to shout "hands in the air" for that particular section. Almost. Now, as you can see here, if I get rid of these filtering so we can look more closely, the notes are actually pretty simple. Just long, layered single notes that develop into chords. Slightly different final chord on the second time round for a bit of variety. So we're going from F sharp up to A, then down to D, and simultaneously up to E and down to C sharp, and on this one down to the B. And just to show you how that works. There. Now that's a great ARP effect. Comes out quite well considering how simple it is. I think the reverb really helps. So let's move swiftly onto yet another simple effective sound, the pad. This one is a combinator. We're going to name it pad after the pads on the bottom of the paw of a cat, which is generally what I use to play the MIDI keyboard in order to make the notes of this sound. Then we're going to make a mixer. And that's right. 3 multi-oscillators. Probably getting used to this by now. All detuned a bit. With that 3-octave spread, running them through. Full sustain, and I'm going to get rid of that filter too because it's looking at me funny. Boom, notes. Let's take a listen. Convenient. Now duplicate. Link it up to the mixer. Pan those bitches. And let's add an RV7000. Advanced reverb, full aux. So it's horrendously drowned in reverb. On Wembley mode. So we can pretend we're successful stadium filling artists even if we never achieve our wildly ambitious dreams. So that sounds like this. Bring up that decay a bit. And then add in an EQ. We're going to cut it around 550 Hertz by a considerable amount, 10 decibels, and widen it up a bit, as you can see. This gets rid of that kind of muffled mid-range. And we're going to brighten the high end as well by about 6 decibels. Also, a nice technique to have more space in the low end, if we want to get rid of it entirely, is to put in the stereo imager and turn it onto solo high band. Let's bring that down so we have a little bit there. Now this is the quickest way to make a high-pass filter kind of thing in Reason and cut off some of the low end of an entire synth without having to route everything through Thor, like if a Greek god wanted to organise a hammer appreciation convention. Notes-wise, I've just got some simple thirds playing. Up to here. And the root note F. Up to some higher ones, this C sharp and D. And these two are a semitone apart, just to help it sound gorgeous and epic. Hardstyle has this trance-like appreciation for melody, and then this clown-like appreciation for rhythm. It's like the ultimate trollololol genre. So, there we have it. An ARP with more potential to be filtered than the Chinese internet, and a pad that's more paddy than a 4-leaf clover and some Guinness. And it's really loud. We'll probably mix that. So join me tomorrow for day 5, where I'll take a look into the effects I've used, which aren't massively complex, but also some hardstyle vocal processing for that over-the-top distorted radio presenter kind of sound. Don't forget to like this video first though.